David Muir, ABC's World News Tonight, America's most watched newscast. Now streaming same day with all the breaking news of the day on Disney+. Most watched, most trusted. Now on Disney+ every night.
Tonight, breaking news, dangerous smoke from hundreds of Canadian wildfires now stretching from the Midwest to the Northeast to the Carolinas. More than 100 million under air quality alerts. The Washington Monument barely visible. Major League Baseball games now being affected. And tonight, concerns about the World Cup final outside New York City. Tonight, after the CDC identified one potential source of a parasitic outbreak sickening thousands, a major company urgently pulling shredded iceberg lettuce off the shelves nationwide. Deadly flooding in Texas, more than 2 feet of rain, hundreds of water rescues reported, a bridge washed away. Dramatic body camera video just released. Deputies ambushed, 2 wounded as they were responding to a domestic violence call. Tonight, the U.S. ramping up attacks on Iran, targeting a surveillance tower tracking vessels in the Strait of Hormuz. James Longman in the region. 24 hours after President Trump delivered a primetime address making claims about, quote, shocking vulnerabilities in America's election systems, a top Republican senator dismissing the president's warning as nothing new. ABC News obtaining video showing an airport attack on TSA officers. Tonight, the FBI moving in to rescue 2 forest rangers who say they were kidnapped and held hostage for more than 14 hours. The terrifying lightning strike. Home surveillance showing a woman racing from her car inside to safety. The NFL honoring a former star now battling ALS. And the World Cup showdown, Argentina versus Spain. The young star about to go head-to-head against his childhood idol.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, I'm Mary Bruce in for David. We begin tonight with the breaking news. Dangerous air quality alerts spreading across the U.S., reaching deeper south. More than 100 million under air quality alerts from the Midwest to Washington, D.C. Time-lapse video showing thick clouds of smoke from hundreds of Canadian wildfires rolling across Illinois. The smoke now reaching the nation's capital, the Washington Monument there disappearing in the haze. Health officials are urging children and older adults to stay inside. Smoke also affecting major sporting events after reporting its worst air quality on record. What the Milwaukee Brewers are now telling fans, another team canceling tonight's game. And there is also concern about air quality for Sunday's World Cup final at New York, New Jersey Stadium. Lee Goldberg standing by with the forecast. ABC's Matt Rivers leads us off.
Tonight, new video showing hazardous Canadian wildfire smoke pouring into major cities from the Midwest all the way to the East Coast.
It's just gotten so bad.
Detroit, Chicago, and Washington, D.C. have the worst air quality among major cities in the U.S. tonight. The nation's capital barely visible in that haze, some masking up on the National Mall.
I think they're struggling, and that's why I'm sitting here. I'm sure it's affecting everybody's physical activity, no doubt.
Some experts say several days of outside exposure to the smoke is like smoking several cigarettes per day. The fire's not just torching trees and brush, but cars and homes, creating a toxic soup.
It's burning anything in its path, so there's a lot of other things being discharged into the air.
The Cleveland Clinic now reporting a 10% spike in emergency room patients due to air quality. In New York City, the National Guard handing out masks. Philadelphia declaring a code purple for very unhealthy air. The Phillies-Mets game last night moved up.
Supposed to start this game at 7:10. We've been moved up 1 hour.
Late today, the Cleveland Guardians postponing tonight's game against the Pittsburgh Pirates due to air quality concerns. The Milwaukee Brewers allowing fans to exchange tickets for today's game to avoid the smoke. And tonight, concerns over the most famous sporting event in the world, Sunday's World Cup final in New Jersey. The stadium shrouded in haze all week. FIFA officials closely monitoring the smoke forecast ahead of kickoff. And Mary, we've just learned tonight that American, Delta, and United Airlines are all issuing travel waivers in the Midwest due to those air quality concerns. Meanwhile, tonight, just outside the stadium where that World Cup final will be played on Sunday, you can still see the haze. But so far, no plans to change when that game will be played. Mary?
Fans around the world watching this closely. Matt, thank you. Let's get right to ABC senior meteorologist Lee Goldberg. Hey, Lee.
Hey, Mary, and I can confirm decent air quality for the World Cup final on Sunday. In fact, we got briefly blue skies here in New York, a welcome sight, but the smoke is poised to come back. Air quality alerts right now go from the Midwest to New England and south all the way to the Carolinas. The worst of the smoky air, Detroit, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Philly this evening, and then later tonight here in New York City. Tomorrow morning, unhealthy air from the Midwest to the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic, but improving conditions in the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic later tomorrow. That's as storms sweep through. We expect storms Saturday from the Ohio Valley and the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic, a level 3 risk from Cleveland to Syracuse, New York to D.C. Flash flooding a major concern with multiple rounds of storms that could also bring damaging winds, even a few tornadoes. Make sure your mobile alerts are on. Mary?
Okay, Lee, thank you. And next tonight, after the CDC identified one potential source of a parasitic outbreak sickening thousands now across the U.S., Taylor Farms is now pulling iceberg lettuce sourced from Mexico from shelves across the U.S. Health officials warning Americans not to eat the lettuce served at Taco Bell restaurants in 5 states. Here's ABC's Elizabeth Schulze.
Tonight, the CDC and FDA warning Americans not to eat shredded iceberg lettuce served at Taco Bell locations in 5 states: Indiana, Kentucky, Michigan, Ohio, and West Virginia. Federal regulators now linking the lettuce to the cyclosporiasis outbreak, causing severe digestive issues.
It's nothing like I've ever had before.
Tonight, Taco Bell saying the affected ingredient has been removed from our supply chain nationwide. The FDA's investigation leading to an independent farm in Mexico. The supplier, Taylor Farms, one of the nation's largest producers of fresh vegetables, telling ABC News they are voluntarily removing all iceberg lettuce sourced from central Mexico from the U.S. market, and that no other Taylor Fresh Foods products are impacted. In 2024, slivered onions from the company were tied to the E. coli outbreak from quarter-pounder burgers at McDonald's. Newlywed Gretchen Pless was on her honeymoon when she contracted cyclosporiasis and ended up in the emergency room.
Our vows said in sickness and in health, so we're just getting an early start on that.
So far, the CDC has reported cases across 34 states. The epicenter in Michigan, where health officials now say more than 5,000 people have been infected, over 100 of them hospitalized. The state typically sees less than 50 cases per year.
Mary, FDA investigators are now racing to determine if other retailers or restaurants might be affected. The CDC says there could be other unrelated outbreaks. Mary.
And Elizabeth, we know you'll stay on this. Thank you. Next here tonight, dramatic new images of the deadly flooding in central Texas. Devastating storms unleashing more than 2 feet of rain in some parts. Homes and vehicles underwater. A bridge washed away. ABC's Faith Abube in Texas.
Tonight, relentless rains and flooding leaving a trail of destruction across the Texas Hill Country.
Even though the worst of the rain is going to be behind us for a while, as in for days, the rivers are going to continue to rise.
This bridge in Uvalde County collapsing after more than 2 feet of torrential rainfall drenched the region. In Kerrville,
it's a semi.
Vehicles washed into trees and homes, wreckage littering yards and streets. And this debris right here, solid steel, the frame of a single-wide mobile home washed away by the floodwaters and now wrapped around this tree like a ribbon. First responders performing hundreds of high-water rescues. This stranded person airlifted by helicopter in Gillespie County Thursday. At least 2 people killed in the flooding, including 65-year-old Mark Stewart. His family says his Kerrville home was swept away. Today, we followed up with Robert Shelton. He and his family were rescued from the attic of his home after his 11-year-old daughter woke him up at 2 a.m.
So this is how high the water was?
Yeah.
And your neck was just a little bit above that, hanging on for air in the attic?
Yep, that's all we could do at that point. It kind of hit me this morning a little bit, but yeah, I got to stay strong.
And Mary, all across the Texas Hill Country, cleanup has begun and the rain is moving out, but isolated flood threats remain in the western part of the state. Mary.
Faith Abube following the storms for us all week. Faith, thank you. Now to the dramatic body camera and drone video just released. Multiple deputies ambushed in Florida. Authorities say they were responding to a domestic violence call when they immediately came under fire. 2 of them shot. And a warning, the images are disturbing. Here's ABC's Victor Oquendo.
2 Florida deputies are lucky to be alive after authorities say they were ambushed with gunfire, all captured on dramatic drone and police body camera video.
Motor 3V, I'm hit.
Deputies arriving on scene Thursday morning, searching for their suspect, Chris Machowski, after his ex-girlfriend told police she had escaped hostage captivity, allegedly zip-tied and held at gunpoint for hours.
Our suspect ambushed our deputies from the moment they arrived on scene.
One deputy hit in the hand, quickly falling to the ground. Deputies racing to his side.
Hey, get us ambulance, get an ambulance.
A second deputy shot before he could step out of his car.
I'm in my car, I got hit in the neck.
A third deputy shooting Machowski multiple times. He was later pronounced dead at the hospital. The deputies seen here in stretchers before being airlifted to the hospital. Tonight identified as Colton Daniels and Safarmani Moon.
Once I saw the gun pointed at me, hearing gunshots, I knew to try to get cover, get behind something solid on the car. Once I realized I was shot, the first aid side took effect.
And Mary, both deputies are expected to make a full recovery. The Florida Department of Law Enforcement is investigating. Mary?
A frightening scene there. Victor, thank you. Next tonight, the U.S. is ramping up attacks against Iran for the 7th day in a row. American forces targeting a surveillance tower tracking vessels in the Strait of Hormuz. Iran retaliating with drone and missile attacks against U.S. allies in the Mideast. ABC's chief international correspondent James Longman in the region for us again tonight. James.
Mary, CENTCOM has tonight released this footage of a strike on a surveillance tower at an Iranian port, which they say the regime used to track and target commercial vessels in the Strait of Hormuz. Although the White House says the strait is open to shipping, maritime tracking shows the reality is that only a handful have been able to pass through under the threat of Iranian attack. And after President Trump's threat to strike at civilian infrastructure next week, Iranian state media reports 2 bridges being hit by U.S. airstrikes, as well as a train station and an airport. Legal experts say striking civilian targets could be a war crime. CENTCOM says they never target civilians. And Iran is still firing back, with alerts in Qatar, Jordan and Bahrain, and major damage to a power and water desalination plant in Kuwait today. That forced the government there to advise citizens to conserve energy while they stabilize the grid. Mary?
Okay, James, thank you. And here in the U.S., 24 hours after President Trump delivered his primetime address, making claims about, quote, shocking vulnerabilities in America's election system and reigniting false claims about the 2020 election, a top Republican senator is dismissing the president's warnings as nothing new. Here's ABC's Jonathan Karl.
Tonight, a top Republican on the Senate Intelligence Committee poured cold water on President Trump's dramatic claims of, quote, shocking vulnerabilities within our country's election systems.
Frankly, as a member of the Senate Intelligence Committee, there wasn't a whole lot new. We've known that our adversaries are trying to influence our elections for a long time.
President Trump released newly declassified documents he claims expose those shocking vulnerabilities.
The election system we have dangerously exposes and really exposes like levels never thought possible to hacking, exploitation, and foreign interference.
But one of the election reports the White House released says America's election systems, quote, would be difficult to manipulate on a wide enough scale to alter the election outcome. Trump accused China of targeting the 2020 election, even though his own intelligence officials had assessed with high confidence that China did not seek to change the outcome. The president also made unsubstantiated claims that hundreds of thousands of non-citizens are registered to vote. Today, Trump's Secretary of Homeland Security vowed to track them down and threatened state officials who refused to help with the effort.
If the election officials, once we gave them the information they need to secure their elections, and they chose not to, then those individuals can also be held accountable by fines, by penalties, and even, depending on how far it goes, prison time.
Although the president made alarming allegations, he presented no evidence that China meddled in the 2020 election. And despite those allegations, the White House told us today that President Trump still intends to welcome Chinese President Xi here to the White House later this year. Mary?
That trip's still a go. Okay, John, thank you. And in southwest China tonight, the desperate search for survivors after a massive landslide. A mountainside collapsing, burying more than 10 buildings. People seen running for their lives. At least 8 people killed. Dozens of residents are missing. More than 1,100 forced to evacuate. Water, electricity, and gas shut off in the area during the search. And when we come back here, New York City suffering its first fatality tied to a dangerous bacteria. The FBI moving in to rescue 2 forest rangers kidnapped and held hostage for more than 14 hours. Newly released video, the airport attack on TSA officers. The terrifying lightning strike, a mom racing from her car, her children screaming inside the house. And the World Cup final showdown and the iconic photo, Spain's young star facing his childhood idol, and it's not the first time they've met. And next tonight, New York City health officials announcing 1 person has died after being diagnosed with Legionnaires' disease. The city is managing an outbreak of Legionnaires tied to bacteria found in cooling towers. More than 70 buildings testing positive. 67 people now diagnosed, 12 hospitalized. And tonight, 1 person on the Upper East Side has now died. Next tonight, 2 Forest Service workers rescued by the FBI 14 hours after they were kidnapped in the wilderness of Northern California. The incident at the Shasta Trinity National Forest near Gumboot Lake. The workers allegedly kidnapped, zip-tied, and held at gunpoint. Heavily armored law enforcement vehicles seen racing to the remote area. Roads into the forest shut down. The hostages finally released in the early morning hours, the suspect surrendering shortly after. Newly released video obtained by ABC News shows a disturbing incident at BWI Airport in Maryland back in April. Surveillance showing 32-year-old Cornelius Queen running toward a TSA officer and attacking him before other officers jumped in to stop him. A second camera capturing the incident from another angle. Queen also allegedly attacked a bystander and his 2 children. He was taken to a hospital and then placed under arrest. And when we come back here, the terrifying lightning strike, a mom racing to her children, screaming inside their home, and the Tennessee Titans set to honor former star Chris Johnson in his battle with ALS. To the index now, and the dramatic doorbell video showing a Florida mom nearly struck by lightning during a storm. Jessica Gonzalez was unloading her car, her kids waiting inside, when a massive bolt strikes her neighbor's yard behind her. Gonzalez said it felt like sparks were hitting her, her kids screaming as she ran into the garage. Fortunately, and astoundingly, no one was hurt. And the Tennessee Titans announcing they will induct former Pro Bowl running back Chris Johnson into their Ring of Honor. Johnson revealing to our Michael Strahan on GMA that he's been diagnosed with ALS. He's now using his eyes and a speech-generating device to communicate. The ceremony honoring him will take place during halftime at the team's 2026 season opener at Nissan Stadium on Sunday, September 13th. And when we come back, the World Cup final showdown, the young Spanish star versus his childhood idol for the first time, and those viral photos from nearly 20 years ago. And finally tonight, the World Cup final showdown just 2 days away. The high drama on the pitch and the halftime show for the ages. Here's Will Reeve.
Tonight, fans across America and the world ready for an epic World Cup final. The blockbuster showdown this Sunday in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Spain versus defending champion Argentina in what could be Lionel Messi's last World Cup game. Messi going head-to-head against Spain's young superstar, 19-year-old Lamine Yamal. This will be the first time the two have played against each other, but not the first time they've met. These viral photos from nearly 20 years ago show Yamal as a 6-month-old baby in a tub and being held by Messi, 20 years old at the time, for a promotional event in Barcelona. The photos resurfacing after Yamal's father shared them online, writing, "The beginning of two legends." And with all eyes on the two soccer stars this Sunday, watch what 39-year-old Messi does to conserve energy on the pitch. According to new FIFA tracking data, Messi walks and stands more than he runs, walking about 63% of the time, about twice as much as many World Cup players. Messi running during just 4% of gameplay, playing smarter, not harder. And right in the middle of it all, you'll see the World Cup's first ever Super Bowl-style halftime show, featuring Shakira, Madonna, Justin Bieber, BTS, and Coldplay. An American-style ending for the games that have celebrated weeks of goodwill and great competition sweeping across the United States, with so many international fans discovering things they love about America, from American foods and ranch dressing to singing American songs and the Star-Spangled Banner.
We cannot wait for Sunday. A new 2020 airs tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern right here on ABC. I'm Mary Bruce. For David and all of us here, good night.
David Muir, the most trusted, most watched newscast in America. And now, World News Tonight has won the Emmy for Best Live News Program for the 4th year in a row.